the host of the Gridiron.
All right, welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Nah, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. Next time I go live, if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, description below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it means so much to me. And I thank you in advance once again. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath, there's another link in there somewhere. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 10,300 members in the group. We just went up another 100 members since a couple days ago. And it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, man, huh? Oh, man. You know, I mean, you know, there's getting a win, and they all feel good. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean, you want to say, I mean, the one against the Colts really felt good. Hey, dear. But then, of course, then you realize that you blew the number 1 pick overall and everything. But, you know, so now you're going to start weighing this thing out here, okay? You know, a little bit, right? Did we want the number 1 pick? Did we? Or are we happy where we're at right now? Because if we had the number 1 pick, right? Wouldn't have Carter. Wouldn't have Dart. We'd have, we might have 2 Cams. Damn, right? Ward, damn, Skattebo, right? We might have 2 Cams, right? But so might have been for the best that we beat the Colts last year. But I mean, even when we beat the Colts, it's still, I know having that number 1 overall pick was just, felt so good, right? And to give it up. So it might have worked out for the best, though, right? But I mean, they all feel good. I mean, the one against the Chargers felt great, right? But this one here, right? I mean, you know, beating the Eagles is really, you know, I mean, we've had like I guess it's like, what, 1 year we win against the Eagles at home, then the next year we lose, then we win at home, then we lose to the Eagles at home. So it's like, you know, of course that's the benchmark. We got the 2 benchmark. We got to beat the Cowboys. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, beat them, right? Can we beat the Cowboys when they come to town this year? Because I forget, we still got to play the Commanders, right? And we got to play the Cowboys at home, right? We got to beat the Cowboys. Got to beat them, right? It's if we go to the playoffs or if we have a winning record or nothing. To me, it'd just be hollow if we can't beat the Cowboys. We should have beat them last time we played them, right? So let's see, right? Let's see if we can beat them. But the monkey really be almost off our back if we actually go into Philadelphia and win that game. But that's putting the cart before the horse, right? But this one here just really, really felt good. First half was very exciting, right? They went down, scored. We went back. We went up. It should have been 14-3, but we missed the extra point. But it was 13-3. Then the Eagles weren't going nowhere. They came back. They fought back, right? It was what that was it? Was it 20-17.5? Is that what it was? Let me see. It was 20-17.5. Right? Yeah. Just back and forth. Just very exciting game. Very, very, very entertaining. Hey, it's the Eagles, right? That ain't going nowhere. What I mean? They're there, right? You know that, right? But we somehow with like no wide receivers, right? we managed to move the ball up and down the field. Once again, Cam Skattebo just another fantastic game. I think he had over 100 yards rushing, but he got that one penalty at the end there, which took some yards off him, I think it was. And, so I guess he live and learn, right? But, just phenomenal game. In the red zone, we actually held the Eagles. The Eagles, I think, were almost darn near perfect in the red zone. They were 2 for 3. I'm saying going into this game, I think they were like, whatever it was. I think John Schmelk said they were like 11 for 11 or 11 for 12, something like that so far this season. Right. And once they get into the red zone, we held them to 2 out of 3. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about the one total absolute bull crap with the tush push. But it was just it just did your heart good. Now Saquon early on had a couple good runs. What the heck was it? In the last quarter, I think he had they said he had 4 carries for 2 yards or something. We were really. He had a couple early on. Of course, he had that 17 or 18 yard run. It's like, here we go. The guy's averaging 3 yards a carry for the year, and he's going to wind up getting 35 yards a carry against the Giants. Here we go. But nope. Spider-Man, right? 2 sacks. So he's got 7 on the year. So he's still doing good. He didn't get a sack last week, but he made up for it this week. But the third down conversions. What were we? Third downs. Here we go. 11 out of 16. Holy cow. We didn't go for it on fourth. Of course, the Homo Eagles went for it twice on fourth down they were banging each other in the ash, right? But on third down, they were 1 for 9. Really, really good. Said 11 out of 16. We actually outgained them. It's weird. There's ways you find ways to win. That's what the Eagles do. Okay, this year. Last year they were they were 2-2, and then they just started running the table. And a lot of the games they were just very dominant. Great defense. I was hand the ball off to Saquon, let him do his thing, obviously, and then they start concerning themselves about with Saquon. Then you got 2 dog of a wide receivers plus Goddard out there running around. So, they had a phenomenal season last year. A little different this year. Every game this year so far, the Eagles have been outgained in every game. The one against Tampa Bay, I think they had 200 yards of total offense, and somehow they scored 31 points. It just against the Chiefs, they had 94 yards of passing, and they still managed to beat the Chiefs. They got outgained by the Rams. The Eagles were at home, and they had to block a field goal to win that game. They were outgained against the Cowboys week 1. Right, and that have ABCD Lamb had to drop 37 catches, 37 balls in order for the Eagles to. It's just, they're winning. A lot of it's lucky, But every game this season, the Eagles have been outgained every game this season, and the Giants and this one outgained them. What do we have? 366 yards. They had 339. They had a lot of passing. They had 266 yards. The Eagles. Which is really high because they were averaging 171 yards or something. Their passing was just really bad, really bad. But our run defense did a very good job. They ran the ball 20 times for 73 yards. So basically, they had 73 yards. Saquon had 58 yards. So a lot of it has been also in the past. This season is Hurts. He's been running. He's been doing a lot of damage with his feet as well too. So if it has been Saquon, it's been Hurts, right, running the ball. But I mean, just overall, I mean, that was a very exciting game at the halftime, of course. And then, the defense pitched a shutout in the second half. There's 2 big turnovers. Now, once again, Belton, right? Got to give the dude some credit. I hope we bring the guy back. I really hope we bring him back. We got Flott, we got Wan'Dale Robinson, we got Belton, Micah McFadden. Those 4 guys who, hopefully all of them, let's not forget about Micah McFadden too. I mean, hopefully with any luck, we'll get him back by the end of this, before the end of the season. And, hey, if, just saying if, right, if we're around 500 or something like that, and we got some games left to go, anything's possible. I mean, we could certainly use him in the middle of the lineup, middle of the defense, right? So let's hope we can get the guy back. But as I said, let's not Belton, right? The guy, for the amount of time he's on the field, right? I mean, I don't want to say he's a turnover machine, but he seems to have the knack for either causing a fumble, recovering a fumble, picking off a pass or something, right? And that was a big one, because that pretty much ended the game, that fumble. And that's one of those things about you got to get. I don't remember who the back was, the Eagle back was. Got to give the dude a lot of credit. He was fighting for every freaking yard he can get. He kept his knees up, trying to get every inch, every foot he could. It was huge. But unfortunately, if his knee was down, right, it wouldn't have been a fumble. But he kept his knee up. Belton knocked the ball. I think it was Phillips has recovered it. That was huge. Really, really huge. I mean, what can you say or can't say about Jaxson Dart? I mean, there's going to be the games like today or last night, shall I say? All good. There's going to be games like last week where there was some good, and then of course there was the fumble and the interceptions and all that. So it's only been 3 games. Okay, he's 2-1. It's not. I don't want to compare anybody. And I mean, I don't like saying that, but let's not forget Eli was 0 for 6 before he won his last game. Okay. We were 5-4. They put Eli in. And finally, the final game of the season, we went from 5-4 to 5-10 with Eli as the starting quarterback. A couple of those games were just absolutely horrible. The one against the Ravens was just straight trash. You were like, oh my God. But the following season, the Giants went up 2005, 6, 7, 8. We went to the playoffs. So it just goes to show you, and you understand both sides of the coin. I get it. Who's the me to say you put Dart in or you don't? A lot. There's hey, let the guy sit, let him learn, right? Okay, yeah, that makes some sense. Hey, it worked pretty well for some guys, right? Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes sat for a while. You can go on and on and on. By quite a few guys actually sitting, right? Somehow they had Roger Staubach sitting behind Craig Morton for a while. I'm not sure what Tom Landry was smoking back in the late 60s and early 70s, but, So, I mean, a lot of times guys, sit and it works out, right? But, there's no substitute, right, for playing. No substitute at all for playing, right? And we've seen, he's going to make his mistakes. He's a rookie. He's going to make his mistakes. He's got a lot to learn. Long way to go. Okay. But you can see, right? You can see this. I mean, the first touchdown he ran in, right? There was the other one. When was it? Was it 2 weeks ago against the Chargers? He ran in a long one and got called back. JMS had a holding penalty. I don't remember if the holding penalty allowed him to get through the line for the touchdown. That I don't know. But I mean, he just run in the pocket. He's feeling the pressure, running up, dodging this, dodging that, and runs off to the side, right side, flings it to Wan'Dale Robinson. He makes it. Dude missed the tackle, goes down the sideline. I think it was little Jordan Humphrey was down there doing some blocking, gets in the So, I mean, you can really see, especially if he keeps learning, right? He keeps learning. Let's hope, if Daboll's still around, right, at the end of the season, because you can see, right, where we got some hope. We got, right? Right. So maybe Daboll might be saving his job. We'll have to wait and see. Let's hope. I said Daboll can keep developing him. Okay. And Dart keeps learning and hopefully keeps, going like this, right? Right. But you can certainly see where there's a chance, right, where we might have our quarterback of the future. Right. And you can certainly see where, hopefully all things considering and everything, hopefully we have our running back, of the future. Lord no, I mean, the dude runs into goalposts and stuff, I mean, with his head, and runs into brick fire hydrants with his head. No, I mean, so I hope he don't wear himself out. But, I mean, as of right now, hey, we got Tyrone Tracy, right? We got Turbo Miller, and we got Cam. We got, Motor Singletary. I'm not sure if we're going to want to keep, how much longer we'll want to keep him, but we'll have to wait and see. But you can see where we have, starting to have, we really could use, we need another wide receiver. Or we need another dog. Whether it's I keep saying whether it's a Brock Bow or somebody like that, Kelsey, of course, hard to find somebody like that, but I mean, somebody really good tight end, receiving tight end, or another wide receiver. We need somebody like that next year. We could use, it seems like our guards might be kind of the weakest link on the offensive line so far this year. Right, so we do need a guard, but I mean, it's and of course, then to beat obviously just to beat the Eagles, it's just, man, it makes you feel so good. Really, really makes you feel good. We got here. Dart and Cam power the Giants to a dominant win over the Eagles. Their beloved co-owner, John Mara, who wears the losses like blood on his sleeve and is battling cancer, needed this. Head coach Brian Daboll, who's been a target of the social media mob, needed this. Every player in the Giants' locker room, especially those who have been endured loss after loss after loss to the Eagles, needed this. And, of course, Mr. Mara got the game ball. So the faithful fans who were loud and made a difference Thursday night at MetLife Stadium needed this. Everyone needs some positive reinforcement at least once in a while. And the Giants earned it in spades on this night, upsetting the reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles 34-17 in a commanding and complete result that must have tasted like expensive champagne, even though it was a mere Week 6 game in the middle of October and lifted the Giants' record to just 2-4. But I mean, right? I mean, you look. I mean, the dude's not kicking a 64-yard field goal against the Giants. We should have beat the Cowboys. We don't have turnovers on 5 consecutive drives against the Saints. Possibly we win that. I mean, the Giants can easily be 3-3. You look at 3-3, the season, we're still 2-4, okay? But 3-3, it's a little more promising. 3-3 sounds better than 2-4, right? When the Giants' most complete performance in recent memory was over, Daboll was handing the game ball over to Mr. Mara in the bowels of the stadium and later calling him one tough cookie. The Eagles had defeated the Giants in 7 of the team's previous 8 meetings, 16 of the past 20 dating back a decade. Last 10 years, the Giants have only beaten the Eagles 4 times. They'd lost 8 consecutive NFC East games, the second longest division drought in NFL history. The Eagles have been the Giants' daddy for too long. It was time for that to end. There have been the blowout losses, obviously, the 38-7 playoff loss. There have been heartbreaking losses, and then there was Saquon Barkley at the revenge game, right, last year. But Dexter Lawrence says we're 1-0 against them now, this year. We don't care what they did to us in the past. Make no mistake, this was an exorcism for the Giants and their fans, starved for something to cheer about for a winner. Giants were 11 or 16 on third downs. Their defense created 2 game-changing turnovers. And the offense, 4 days after turning the ball over 5 freaking times, didn't turn it over once. They were 3 for 3 in the red zone. Winning feels good, Daboll said. There are a lot of coaches sleeping in their offices this past week. And I appreciate about the guys. They put in a lot of work. They do that every week. The players put in a lot of it. I'm just happy for those guys that put so much into it to try to get the outcome we all desire. Giants clearly have winners and 2 rookies. Quarterback Jaxson Dart, who was 17 out of 25 with no wide receivers, for the most part. Plus that, not only that, but the Eagles have done a phenomenal job so far this year at controlling the other team's tight ends. And they did that here with the Giants. So basically, they did a very good job of eliminating the Giants' tight ends. The Giants have practice squad wide receivers on the team, right? And somehow Jaxson Dart was 17 out of 25, completed, 2/3 of his passes. For 195 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. And Cam Skattebo rushed for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns. And we didn't have to do no homo tush pushed. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, pal. No homo tush push to score any points like the Eagles do. Just 4 days earlier, in an inexcusable giveaway loss to the Saints, Dart turned the ball over 3 times, and Skattebo lost a fumble that was returning. It was a 10-point swing right there in that one play. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Thank goodness for youth and short memories. But the Giants took the 27-17 lead on the ball rush, 1-yard TD by the relentless Skattebo halfway through the third quarter. It was the second of his 3 touchdowns. Right. Giants had a massive scare on their next offensive possession when Dart was sacked by Pat. Yeah. And it remained on the turf. It's like, oh my God. It was like, what is, and then of course, then the blue tent debacle. Right. Daboll went into the tent. And you don't go in there. But he's sticking his head in, hey, how's it going? Apparently, you're not supposed to be doing. Then he's like yelling, he's going back and not back and forth. But he's like, wanting to find out from the doctor how long he's going to be in there for or whatever. I get Daboll gets all excited and stuff like that. But he can't be doing that. You know what I mean? So hopefully he learned his lesson. But so after being tended to, he tried it off the field, but was brought into the tent to be evaluated for concussion. Thankfully, he's okay. He emerged from the tent several minutes later, cleared to play. But of course, the drive at that time was over with. And of course, then the Giants put the game away on the interception. The first of the year thrown by Hurts. I mean, the Eagles only had, I think, 1 turnover all year going into the game. That's another one of the reasons why they wind up winning. Or, they get outgained, they get outplayed, they get out everything, but somehow they wind up winning I said, this is the 6th game the Eagles have played. They've been outgained in every game. I said the one game against Tampa Bay literally almost outgained them 2-1. I think the Eagles had like 200 yards of offense. The Bucs had like 370 or 80 or something, almost 2-1. And somehow the Eagles wind up scoring 31 points. They had 200 yards of offense. They scored 31 points. Yeah. So they find ways to win. But, I mean, they only had 1 turnover going into this game. I think they said it was a fumble, of Jalen Hurts' fumble. Yeah, he's been very good protecting the ball. He's been 5 games. Actually, hey, he's played 6 games. He's thrown 1 interception. Not too bad. Right? He's done a very good job. I mean, hey, 6 games in, he's had 2 turnovers. I don't know what the fumble was. It was a sack fumble. I don't know. Running the ball from that, I don't know. But he's played 6 games. He's only had 2 turnovers. That's pretty damn good for a quarterback. Now I mention that, the whole rest of the freaking team, I don't know if they fumbled the ball. I mean, they probably fumbled and maybe recovered it. But, I mean, they haven't, lost a fumble at all the whole season long. How you doing? That's the Eagles. That's an Eagles. That's what they got little eagle emblems on the side of their helmet. That's what a Philadelphia that is. That's my way of saying it anyway. But I mean, so the Eagles, they just done a very good job protecting the ball, and the 2 turnovers were just huge, absolutely huge. Where are we at here? I said with Dart, I mean, just the run up the middle, the beauty of it, and it's so difficult. I can never do it being a quarterback. It's funny because you get a lot of guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you. we don't get many wins like this when you're a Giant fan. Let me tell you what. If you're a Cowboy fan, we can never beat the Cowboys. We can hardly ever beat the Eagles. I mean, so to get a win against the Cowboys or the Eagles is not easy for us Giants. It don't come easy. Let me tell you what. Don't come easy. Absolutely not. But with Dart, it's not easy being a quarterback. You can see because some guys they get the pressure and they just collapse. They get rid of the ball. They make a bad mistake. They make a bad decision. It seems like with Dart, he always keeps his head looking down the field. He climbs the pocket, and he has a good sense of what's going on. If he sees a hole, he takes off and runs with it. If he can't find somebody open, right? So he seems like he's got. Oh, let's hope. Because I mean, for us anyway, the Daniel Jones experience just didn't work, didn't pan out. Good for the Colts, it's panning out well for them, but didn't pan out too well for the Giants. So let's hope that we have our quarterback in the future. We got to go play, I believe it's the Broncos, and then we got to play the Eagles once again. So it's not going to get any easier. I mean, the Broncos actually beat the Eagles, right? And then we got to play the Eagles again. So the Eagles are going to be, licking their chops to get back at the Giants on that one. So we got to be careful. We really have to be careful. But I mean, as of right now, we're 2-4. Let's hope maybe out of these next 2 games, if we can go 1-1 in these next 2 games, and be maybe 3-5. Maybe about halfway through the season. For us, a lot of us Giant fans, being 3-5 or so with a rookie quarterback would be we'll take that. We'll take that. So, but I mean, let me tell you what, boy, the victory just really felt good. And not only that, but it was also because last night, because I can't stand Philadelphia, because I was born in New York, right? I live here in South Jersey. I live about 20 minutes from Philadelphia, right? So I've been here for 38. No, what am I talking about? So 87, 97, 07. So I'm getting close to almost 50 years here. Close. I've been almost here for 50 years. So I can't stand Philadelphia. I just can't stand them. But last night, right, when the Phillies lost to the Dodgers, and that knocked the Phillies out of the playoffs, and then the Giants beat the Eagles at the MetLife Stadium, man, it did my heart some good. Oh, man, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely, it was a great night. Of course, I'm a Met fan. Of course, our team, we snuck up the whole second half of the season. So, but somebody knocks the Phillies out, and I'm all for it. Of course, then it leads to this. I mean, it's like the thing that really ticked me off is that the offside call. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's so many people. Everybody's getting down in there and all of that, and there's all the offensive linemen and the defense. Everybody's digging in, and it was the guy right next to the center. So maybe whoever's the linesman, whoever was in charge of looking down the line and seeing, who somebody's offsides or something, like maybe he thought it was the center who maybe was. I don't know. but I mean, it's like it wasn't like, the ball's here and the guy moved a fraction of a second and then they snapped the ball. Okay, that stuff happens all the time. But I mean, I'm like, it's like basically it seemed like they gave the Eagles like 4 points, right? Instead of giving them a 5-yard penalty, knocking them back 5 yards, they don't push it when it's whatever it was, whenever it's like 3rd and 6. They don't push it then, right? They're not going to push it on 3rd and 6 and then 4th and 4. No, they don't do it. I mean, because they only get like a yard or so on each time, right? So basically they gave them, the one free play. They should have took them back 5 yards, which quite possibly would have made them, they would have had to go for it. They didn't go for it. They maybe kick a field goal. So quite possibly they gave them 4 points because they wound up scoring a touchdown. But the thing, it's just like, it's the ball's here, and then the guard just starts moving. He like almost gets across the line of scrimmage, and he's almost like getting ready to block the other guy, the defender, right? And then they snap. It's like, what the fuck are you looking at, dude? I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, and it's like there's so many. Wait, do I have it here? Oh, Mike McFadden. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't. I just can't see any Eagles, but Mike McFadden, 4-word tweet after 4 consecutive tush-push plays. He says, "This is not football." And then he has 2 emojis, 2 trash emojis right after that. Somebody throwing like a piece of paper in the trash. I mean, is that what you got to do I mean, Mike McFadden was just like every other NFL fan watching Eagles score a touchdown following 4 consecutive tush-push plays. It's like, are you kidding me? In the second quarter Thursday night game against the Giants, the Eagles used their signature take on the quarterback sneak on a 3rd and short and then a 4th and short, bringing them just about 1 yard away from the goal line. Philly then ran the same play 2 more times to cap off the successful, albeit a boring, touchdown drive. Giant fans weren't loving the Eagles' tush pushes, especially since they seemed to they did. I mean, the guy, I can't even talk about it. It just makes me so, I freaking hate it. Absolutely hate it. Especially since they did commit a false start penalty on one of them, and neither was Parsons. The former Dallas Cowboy star shared a blunt message on social media calling out the Eagles for the non-football play. It says, "This is not football," Parsons wrote on Twitter, and added 2 trash can emojis right after it. The Eagles' 4 consecutive tush pushes ate up roughly 2 minutes of the clock, with the game's announcers pointing out that it was sheer bully ball from the NFC East powerhouse, which was total BS because they should have been pushed back 5 yards because it was a false start. I mean, it wasn't even close. If it works, it works. A tush-push ban proposal floated by the Packers earlier this year fell short by just 2 votes at the NFL owners meeting in May, which means the play and all of its surrounding controversy is here to stay for at least the rest of this season, unfortunately. Giant fans incensed after refs missed another penalty on the Eagles' tush-push. Absolute, total bull crap. Another Eagle game, another tush-push controversy. Philadelphia went to their tried-and-true tactic a whopping 4 straight times during the second quarter of Thursday night's game against the Giants. On the 4th quarterback sneak, Jalen Hurts was finally able to punch in the touchdown for the go-ahead score. But replay videos were not particularly kind to Hurts and the Eagles. On one of their 4 Homo pushes, a slow-motion replay showed Eagles right guard Tyler Steen jumping off early, well before the snap, though admittedly it was only obvious thanks to the slowed-down video playback. Prime Video's NFL rules analyst Terry McCauley said on the broadcast that it was a false start, but he added that it was a difficult penalty to call in real time. NFL officials also admitted as much in training tape the league distributed to teams earlier this season. So apparently they'd missed false starts before on the Eagles' homo push. This isn't the first time. The Giants, who voted against the homo push during the annual NFL owners meeting back in May, ultimately had no answer for the Eagles' inevitable play, especially when Philly appeared to benefit from at least one missed false start penalty. Giant fans at MetLife Stadium could be heard booing the Eagles during their multiple consecutive homo push plays, and NFL fans on social media also weren't too happy about the Eagles getting away with more missed calls. One guy said, "Why does the NFL keep letting the Eagles jump offside with the homo push? Get this garbage play out of the league." Yep. Another person said, "Ban the homo push. What the Eagles are doing is illegal and ridiculous." Well, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's the Eagles' motto, right? If you ain't banging each other in the ass, right, and you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's the Eagle way. Another guy says, another blatant false start on the Eagles' homo push play. When is the league going to put an end to this embarrassment of a play, ruining the quality of the game? Another guy said, Eagles starting way too early on the homo push. Who the heck is going to officiate this? Yep. Somebody else said here. Another huge first down in red zone for the Eagles on a homo push and another false start. Ban this play. It's nearly impossible to officiate, and Eagles are getting away with all kinds of illegal activity. Yep. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's the Eagle way, right? Somebody else said, genuinely crazy how the Eagles can just blatantly go off sides on the homo push, and the refs refuse to do anything about it. Yep. And I'm sure there was tons of other, but it's amazing how they basically just can get all offsides, right? And they don't call. I mean, I can understand, where it's maybe a bang call. Everybody's in so tight. It's a little more obvious when you're here, right? And there's everybody's spread out, and the defensive players are like whatever, maybe a yard off the ball or something like that. There's a lot of room, and you got room that you can see somebody. But when everybody's crowded in there and all of that, and the guy's down the line, 30 yards away, and he's looking down the line, but so obviously it's the guard. Right, it's not the tight end. It's not somebody out wide where you can see it. It's somebody all crowded in there. So he goes off, So it's like, I guess it's like a bang, right? And they get away with it, right? They need to do something. Maybe you can review it, right? How they do the review in the sky or something like that, right? What they did with Skattebo's touchdown, right? He got in there and the time he fumbled the ball, right? He reached the ball over, and they asked him after the game, said, "No, I got in. I know I got in. I reached the ball over." Then he brought it back in. Then he tried to reach it again or whatever, and that's when the ball came out. But the first initial time he reached it over the line, that's all you got to do. Break the plane. It's a touchdown. Well, they marked him down, whatever, at that, 6-inch line, whatever it was. And that's when Jalen Hurts went over and high-fived the ref. But then then the refs the review, the eye in the sky or whatever it is, said it's a touchdown. I mean, they should do something like that. If you're gonna, at least you're going to keep that homo play in there. At least officiate it where you can see, and if the dude's jumping off sides, right? You throw the flag, right? Because then now it's 3rd and 6 or whatever it was, right? Pushing back 5 yards. If they don't make it, they're kicking a field goal, right? So instead of them scoring 7 points, they only scored 3. So you say, basically they gave the Eagles quite possibly, they gave the Eagles 4 points by not either missing the call, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's something really needs to be done about that. But I just can't stand, and I'm glad. It's being brought to national TV. It's being brought to attention, and all that stuff and everything. And so hopefully something's going to be done about it, because I just can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. I mean, it was almost as much of an embarrassment as it was. Remember, for us Giant fans, when Joe Judge, when we had the ball, whatever it was, ran our own 2-yard line, whatever it was, when Judge was, and we ran like 2 or 3 quarterback sneaks in a row because he didn't trust the quarterback throwing the football or running any plays. He didn't want a safety or something, so he just ran quarterback sneaks. Then we punted the ball. That was an embarrassment. Right? This is probably just as bad to me anyway, if not worse, because obviously there's a call on there, a penalty, and they're not calling it. And almost directly, you can say it gave them 4 extra points. Right? I mean, the Eagles maybe should have had maybe 13 points. They scored 17. Yeah, they should have maybe 13 points. Right? They scored the 1 touchdown, and maybe they could have kicked 2 field goals. They would have had 13 points instead of 17. 4 extra points. That's a lot of extra points. They gave the Eagles. I mean, just absolutely can't stand it. But one thing is that looks like Mr. Flat. I mean, he's been doing pretty good. I mean, I'm going to show you the PFF numbers. Okay, that's what I'm going to show you, right? But he's looks like he may be keeping Mr. Tay Banks on the bench. Now, of course, this is Flat. This is right. We got the Fab Four, if you want to call it that, right? Micah McFadden, Wando Robinson, Dane Belton, Cordell Flat. Those 4 guys. These are contract years, right? Hope we bring back McFadden, right? Hope we can bring him back. Wandale, hope we bring him back, right? If we're going to have Flat, right, as the number 2 cornerback, I mean, this is his last year, right? Hope we bring him back. And then Belton is a good option at the number 3 safety, right? All our safeties are dinged up. Hopefully, now that we have a week and a half off, that'll help, right? Everybody will get some rest and all that. But they all got somebody. Newman's got a groin. Was it Holland's got his neck or a back or something? So Belton's got a little something. But tell you what, Belton does a very good job of being around the ball, shall we say? It was his first play ever. He recovered the fumble against the Panthers on a kickoff, right? He punched the ball out. So he does a pretty good job. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that. I mean, but right, for somebody who's not going to command a lot of money on the open market, right, to have him as your 3rd, safety. And I said he does did a great job of punching that ball out. Right, so interesting to see. But Flat, right? That huge. I mean, that was a huge interception. Man, that was big, right? Because the Eagles are driving, right? And he played off him, and he just played him played hurts like a violin. Dropped off a little bit in coverage. Just throws the ball. Saquon pushed him out of bounds. So hey, got to give Saquon a lot of credit. He took the right angle, pushed him out of bounds. So, but that was huge. But let me show you here. I mean, Flat, pretty good numbers. Tay Banks, I think if I'm not mistaken, according to PFF, okay, Banks' numbers are getting worse each year. Let me share the screen here. All right. Give me a second here. I got 37,000. There we go. Tabs open. All right, here we go. Here's Flat. All right. What did he do? He didn't even have the Eagle game up there, right? I mean, not too bad. His tackling. He must have missed some tackles. Yeah. See, he missed 1 tackle. He had, apparently, according to them, he had 4 chances to make tackles. He missed 1. So he missed 1 out of, so 25%. Not too good. Now you also see here, right? He missed a tackle here. He missed a tackle there. Okay, so a couple of these games, his tackling has been a little suspect. But in the other games, too, his tackling has been pretty good. Okay, so he's had some issues. The first game of the season against Washington, he didn't play too well, according to PFF. Kansas City game didn't play too well, but notice the other game against Dallas, 85. Chargers, 63 last week against Nolan, 71 this week against Philadelphia, 68.4. His coverage grade, look at his coverage grades, 67.5, 86.5, 50, 62, 67.9, 73 point. I mean, we're not asking him to be the number one cornerback, right? He's the number two cornerback. His problem is a lot of times he gets injured. Let's hope he can stay healthy, right? But if we look here, okay, all right, he's been thrown at, right there, 25 times. He's given up 16, 64% completion rate, right? He's given up 178 yards so far in the season, 11.1 yards of reception. Yak yards. He's only given up 32. So if he does give up a completion, for the most part, he's freaking right there to make the tackle. Guys don't break away from him and run for another 30 yards or something like that. He's right there. Okay. He hasn't given up a touchdown this year, and obviously he has the one interception. Let's see, what does he have? Say pass breakups? What do we got here? He has 4 pass breakups on the season. Not bad. So you figure for the whole season he would have, at that rate, well, 11, somewhere around there, 11 pass breakups on the season. That's not bad, right? But you also notice here, right, he played, I guess he must have played darn near, every snap. 54. What did the Eagles? Let's see. The Eagles ran the ball 20 times, and they threw it 33, so that's 53. And then they got a 3 sacks, 53, 57. So he played darn near every snap. He might have missed a few snaps. Might have been about it. So he played almost darn near every snap. So he did. You'll look the last 2 games, right? Against Nolans, he was in there for 59 snaps, graded out of 71. These are some nice solid grades here. It's from your number 2 cornerback, right? And here, he would have graded out higher, but he missed the 1 tackle, right? That pulled him down. His run defense was a little sus, according to PFF, right? But all in all, even when he missed 1 tackle and his run defense, he's still graded at 68.4. So, but you'll notice here, right? One thing, his first 2 years, right? Let's see, he played 3. He did have some injuries, right? Oops. But his rookie year, he's 338, so they graded at 67.8, right? But you'll notice, his coverage grade's not too bad, right? His rookie season, second season, he graded at 53.4. Last season, 62.2. But this season, 70.8. Now, some of it also might happen to be, right? It just happens to be a contract year, right? It's amazing. Sometimes, like that was when Leonard Williams, I think he got into a contract year with the Giants. I think that was his 1 year with the Giants. I think he got like double-digit sacks. He had like 11 sacks 1 year. I think that was a contract. It's amazing how well some of these guys play when it's a contract year, right? But if you notice here, right? Yeah, 70.8. Now, to be fair, right, he's the number 2 cornerback, so usually he's going against maybe the number 2 or whatever wide receiver on the other team, so he's not going against their number 1, right? That's Paulson and Debo's, right? But, hey, for number 2, he's graded out a 70.8 so far this season. That's pretty darn good. Hopefully we can bring him back. But, so you got him in a 70.8, okay? And then you got... Then you got Mr. Banks here. Let's see here. All right. Once again, I do apologize. I got to find it here. Okay. Here we go. All right. All right. So Flats at a 70. Banks is at a 45. And each now, some of this has definitely got to be coaching. Yeah. Right. His first year was a 51. Then he went down to a 50.9. Now, this season's still early, right? But he's at a 45.2. Right? Now, his tackling is the worst it's been. Right? So, what do we got here? Right? He's given 75% completion. He's only been targeted 8 times, but he's been giving up 6 completions. He's given up a touchdown. He has no interceptions. He only has 2 interceptions on his career. Right? He's given up 11 touchdowns in his career to 2 interceptions. Right? So, I mean, this is, each year he's getting worse. Now, a lot of that, I believe, firmly has to do with coaching, right? Oh, that's right. Yeah, here we go. He was in for 3 plays. So Flat was on for 54 out of the 57 plays the Eagles had. Banks was in there for 3, right? But against the same thing with the Saints, Banks was only on for 8 plays, right? Against, let's see, the Chargers. See, these plays when they were kind of like splitting, right? Flat got, I guess, a majority of the plays, right? Against the Chargers, he graded at 58 or 57. Against Dallas, he was at 39, right? But so Banks are 45. So, not impressive. What do you think the issue is with Philly? Well, I know Saquon apparently has a bad knee. Obviously, that's not helping. Jalen Carter wasn't there last night either, so that doesn't help them either. I know they lost. They did lose some really good free agents during the season. To be honest, right? Just totally honest with you, I hate the Eagles. And when you start getting up around my age, I'm getting I'm heading into the 4th quarter of life. If I'm lucky, I'm heading into the 4th quarter. Okay. So, I have another, hopefully 20 years or so. Yeah. Life's short. Okay. I only have so much time left to live. I hate the Eagles. And I can't even talk about them. I'm not going to sit there and watch play, and I'd rather slit my throat, really. Okay, just to be honest, I will not waste my time. I hate them. Absolutely can't stand. That's what you get from living down here for so many years. I've been here born in New York in 1964. I moved here in 1977. So I spent my first 13 years in Long Island. Okay, then I moved down here to South Jersey. I'm about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. So 1977. So I've been here for almost 50 years, right? Just can't stand them. But to be fair, I know Saquon, he's a little bit banged up. I am very shocked. Kellen Moore last year, obviously, was their offensive coordinator. They had a lot of the same guys a couple of years ago. They had A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, phenomenal offensive line. And they started off 10-1, I think it was, 2 years ago. Then they totally fell apart. Then they got Kellen Moore, who was their offensive coordinator last season. Right? Kellen Moore came from, I think it was the Cowboys, I think it was. I think that's where he came from. But he was there last year, and he did a phenomenal job. He's, right? I think. Let me say. I mean, this is just because these coaches jump around so much. Kellen Moore. Let's see here. Here we go. Wikipedia. He was with the Cowboys for a while, right? Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, my bad. He was with the Cowboys from 2019 to 2022, and then he became the Chargers offensive coordinator in 2023, and then he went to the Eagles for 2024. Okay, so he was with the Cowboys for a while, but he was with the Chargers for 1 year, and then he went to the Eagles last season, and now, of course, he's the Saints head coach, right? But I know he's really good offensive wise minded. And what he had them doing last year was just, was feed Saquon. Saquon was very healthy last season. So were the Eagles, very, very healthy last season. And of course, they have a phenomenal offensive line. Stuff works off of Saquon. You can run the ball. You can do just about anything. and you can run the ball, and you got a running quarterback, right? And then you got 2 number 1 wide receivers out there. You can do, and Dallas Goedert's a phenomenal, really good. I'm not going to put him in the top 3 tight end or something, but he's really good, So you got those guys out. You can do pretty much anything, as I said. And then Kellen Moore, with his money, and you can see the results. Their defense was phenomenal last season, and their offense was really, really good. And healthy Saquon, 2,000 yards. If he played in the final game of the season last year against the Giants, he would have broke the rushing record. He probably would have broke it at halftime against the Giants. Then they could have sat him for the right, So Kellen Moore's not there. A lot of it's got to do with coaching. But also one thing Lane Johnson was talking about after the game was over with, he was kind of hoping that the Eagles' offense would be less predictable. Apparently, I guess they're doing a lot of the same things over and over, and you can't be doing that. And as I said, I don't sit there and watch the Eagle game film and all that stuff, But apparently, you listen to Lane Johnson, the Eagles' offense has been somewhat predictable. I mean, A.J. Brown's been complaining he's not getting a lot of balls thrown his way. Dallas Goedert had a lot of catches against us, but I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if their offense is predictable, but I do know that, Kellen Moore's not there. So maybe whoever's calling the offensive plays is he's not as imaginative as Moore is. That's what happens a lot of times with these coaches. They're here one year and then they're gone. I mean, that's the thing. You really, really do good as a coordinator, and you're a wanted man, especially as a head coach, right? Now you look at like somebody, you take Steve Spagnuolo, right? Who was the defensive coordinator for the Giants when we won Super Bowl 42, right? He did a phenomenal job. The Giants had a good defense, had a good players, but we had a good defense, right? And he was the mastermind. But then he went to the Rams as their head coach, and he's not a good coach. Just because you're a good coordinator doesn't make you a good coach, right? So we'll find out. The Saints so far really nothing to write home about, right? But one thing I could obviously say with the Eagles is that they might miss their coordinator, Kellen Moore, right? So that's possible, right? All right, what do we got here next? Oh. We're flat. I want to finish up here. We're flat. The former Alabama prep star rewards New York Giants confidence. In the middle of the biggest play in the NFL career so far, New York Giants quarterback Cordell Flott had turning it into his first touchdown of his pro career, not getting tackled by the opposing quarterback on his mind. Flott had picked off Jalen Hurts and was racing down the sideline at top speed of 20.82 miles per hour, according to next gen stats. So almost 21 miles an hour. But Saquon took the correct angle. Saquon's fast. We all know that. And pushed him out of bounds. So Saquon pushed him out of bounds at the 23-yard line at the end of a 68-yard interception return. Saquon's actually faster than I thought, Flott said. I never just ran beside him like that, but he actually got wheels, so good for him. I wish he would have let me have it. Wow. Barkley's hustle also delayed 6 points for the Giants. So actually, in the long run, it actually panned out for the Giants because the Giants scored, but they ran time off the clock. So actually, Barkley's hustle, Barkley did what he was supposed to do. Yeah, it's not like, let him have let Flott score a touchdown so we can get the ball back. No, he did what he was supposed to do, but it actually benefited the Giants. The Giants ran the clock, right, and then scored the touchdown. So when Flott made his third NFL interception, the Eagles had reached the New York 15-yard line, trying to reduce to 20. I mean, regardless, right? That was at least a 10-point swing right there because the Giants got the 7 points off of the touchdown, but they at the least took away 3 points from the Eagles. Giving them the field goal, right? So that's a 10-point swing right there. That was a huge play. Flott's interception set up Cam Skattebo third touchdown. Since the Philadelphia took a 17-13 lead in the second quarter, the Giants posted a 34-17 victory. Flott became the first player to intercept the pass by Hurts this season as he jumped the throw to wide receiver Jahan Dotson at the Giants' 9-yard line. Just football IQ, Flott said. I was focused. I was dialed in. When I had that cut split, I kind of figured that route was coming, and I reacted to it. I had to capitalize on the moment, and I did. Flott played 54 of the 57 defensive snaps Thursday night. He entered the game having played a little less than 80% of the Giants' defensive snaps in 2025. While Flott has started every game and played most of the cornerback snaps in tandem with Paulson and Debo, New York has been subbing in Deonte Banks for Flott. Banks is the 2023 first-round draft pick who started his first 2 seasons with the Giants. But before Thursday night's game, New York decided to let Flott just stay on the field. And he knew that. He knew he was going to be on the field the whole game pretty much. New York coach Brian Daboll said that the coaches had decided to let Flott handle all the situations at cornerback after Sunday's 26-14 loss to the previously winless Saints. Part of it was our game plan for what we were going to do, Daboll said on Friday. Still having confidence in Banks, but just going into the game really at the start of the week. That's the plan that we did have. Flott did a really good job for us. Made a huge play. You ain't kidding. Absolutely huge play. No question. I mean, because that that allowed the Giants not only to run the clock but put the Giants up by 3 scores. I mean, 3 is so that was absolutely fantastic. And speaking of, for us Giant fans, some of us has been kind of asking for this guy's head. Really, what is this guy done? When are we going to get something in return? All right, you draft the center in the second round. This guy better freaking be good. And when are we going to get, fruits of the labor and all that? Well, he started turning around a little bit. You've got to notice that, like the past, whatever, especially this past week, Runyon had the bad game this week. I think he allowed like 4 pressures. The interior of the offensive line for the Giants has been a little susceptible, right? With either GVR or Runyon not doing a stellar job, shall we say. This is probably quite possibly be GVR's last season with the Giants. Now, that just goes to show you what we think of Evan Neal at the guard position, because GVR is not really having a bad him. Yeah. And if we got Evan Neal, we're not even dressing the dude. Pick number 7 in the draft, and we're not even dressing him. Are you kidding me? And so we're going to need a guard next year, without question, because we got Runyon on the contract for next year. I don't know if we're going to be bringing GVR back, and we didn't pick up Evan Neal's 5th-year option, so he might be bye-bye after this season. We'll have to wait and see. But John Michael Schmitz, past couple games. Now, of course, to be fair, Eagles fan there, Rich, looks like you have a good quarterback. Well, that's I can't say that. I can't say the Eagles, but no, I mean, you guys got a great offensive line. I mean, you got the 2 number 1 wide receivers. We don't. You got a great tight end, right? So you guys, Hurts, he only threw 1 interception. So if that's his first interception, he's thrown all week. All year. I mean, he's done a very good job at, with the ball. So let's see what happens when we play you guys in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. Yeah, things might be a little bit different. It could be a 34-17 the other way, right? So I'm not very confident about that game. We haven't beaten you guys in Philadelphia since what? I think Jesus Christ walked the earth or something like that. It's been a long time, so. The only thing, like with you guys, right, is that I don't know if it's 2028 or 2027, something like that. I think you guys owe like Jalen Hurts like $97.5 million. Oh, let's see. Yeah, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts. Here we go. Okay. Let me share my screen here. And then I'll go back to share screen. I'll go back to JMS here for just a second. But let me share my screen. Okay, here we go. Philadelphia Eagles cap table. I'm going to go back to this to show you somebody else. But let's see here. Let's go here to Jalen Hurts. Right. His cap hit's only 21,870. 21 million. What am I? 21 million. So his cap hit is about $22 million this year, right? I mean, this is just unbelievable. It was somewhere along the line. I think the dead cap or something. Oh, here we go. Is that it? The dead cap hit. It's 117 million. One of the years, was it 2026? Or maybe it was 2027. There was something along the lines where it was supposed to be 5-year. Maybe they redid his contract or something, but there was one of these years here. It was 2027 or 2028. Maybe you must have added more void years onto it or something. Maybe that's what it was, and to even this all this stuff out. But you see here, he has like 4 void years on the end of his contract. So he's got what? So it's cap hit here, right? So he's an unrestricted free agent, right? And he has 4 void years on the end of his contract. You owe him $38 million here, $30 million. That's $68 million, 78, 88, like about $98 million. Now, I'm not exactly sure how all this works out and stuff like that. But you have there's some type of prorated option here. But apparently it's cap hit, right? I guess I don't know if you can get rid of him and you have a dead cap of $8 million. I'm not sure. But you see all these void years added on the end of his contract. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But the thing is, what they were doing with him, right, is that, what they're doing with Jalen Hurts is the smart thing, right? Stealing money pretty much. Last passing. Yeah, I mean, he had 94 passing yards against the Chiefs. 94. I mean, you guys had 200 yards of offense against the Bucks. I mean, I can't stand the Eagles. So exactly what happened in that game, I don't know, because I would rather slit my own throat. I just can't stand them. Right? But I said the Buccaneers had like almost twice as many yards as maybe the Bucks turned the ball over a bunch of times. We got it? Is that it? No, wait. Oh, let me see here. Let's get the Eagles here. There we are here. The Bucks turned it over twice. The Bucks had 376 yards of offense. The Eagles had 200 yards of offense, and the Eagles scored 31 points. The Eagles had 216 yards of offense against the Chiefs, and they won that game. Every game so far this year, the Eagles have been outgained. Every game this year. And every game. They had 302 yards against the Cowboys, 216 against the Chiefs. They had 288 against the Rams, and they won that game. 200 yards against the Bucks. They won that game somehow. 302 yards against the Broncos. I mean, actually, the 339 yards they had against the Giants was the most yards they've had all year. Most yards they've had all year. So, I mean, I was talking. It's a possibility. I mean, with Kellen Moore gone. I mean, because remember, last year, I mean, with Saquon was healthy. It seems like he has something with his knee, one of his knees. So he's not the same. I don't know if they beat the crap out of him last year and he's just wearing down. I don't know. He's got a lot of carries on his, a lot of carries. Yeah. Bucks had a big fumble. Oh, okay. Man, yeah, the block, the field goal. I mean, hey, they did what they had to do. They won. You tip your cap to the Eagles, but that don't happen very often. For you to have to, block a field goal, run it back the other. I mean, most of the time, maybe you block it and it maybe goes wide, but most of the time, everybody puts their hands up. Obviously Carter, I think it was Carter, one that got through and he blocked it and all that. Good for him. Yep, right? They did what they had to do. But I mean, that don't happen very often. So I mean, they're just fine. I don't know what happened in the Chiefs game. They had like 94 yards passing. Well, the Chiefs aren't very good either. You know what I mean? But then you look at the Cowboy game. I mean, ABCD Lamb dropped like 35 passes, a couple of them on the final drive, where maybe could have maybe made a difference. I mean, so some of the things seem to be going their way. That's for sure. So that's for sure. All right. What the heck we had here? Oh, I want to show you John Michael Schmitz. Right. Let me share my screen here. John Michael Schmidt. What the heck is he at there? Once again, I got 35,000 tabs. Now, that's a lot of us here. There we go. A lot of us Giant fans been, I don't know. A little upset with Mr. Schmitz here. But, right, you'll notice here, a couple of years, it was rookie season. We drafted him. He graded out a 41.4. Now, you draft a center in the second round, you want to get some good results. I mean, his pass blocking was a 26 point. This is all according to PFF, right? Pass blocking was a 26.9. His run blocking was a 53. It's 41.4 he graded out at overall. His rookie season. It's like he gave up 5 sacks. He gave up 30 pressures altogether his rookie season. Not very good. Then his second season, he played more snaps in his second season. He went from 755 to almost 1,000 snaps last year, and he gave up less pressures. He gave up 28 pressures. Okay. But you also notice, now that we got new offensive line coach, right? He went from a 41.4 up to a 61.4. So he had made a big jump last year, right? But you also notice this year, okay, he's graded out a 64.5. He's getting a little bit better, right? He hasn't given up a sack so far this year. Now, to be fair, right? I mean, Carter didn't play. He had like a heel, I think it was. So we're lucky there because Carter's he's a dog in the middle of that defensive line. Let me tell you what. So we pretty much locked out there, right? Because that certainly helped our running game as well too. But you'll notice here with John Michael Schmitz, right? No sacks so far this year. He's given up 7 pressures, right? But as I said, his run blocking is pretty solid, but his pass blocking has gotten a lot better. A lot better. I mean, it was a 26.9, went to a 50.2, and then a 60. It's gone up to a 63 so far this year. Right? Let's see. Right. But you also notice here, right? The last 3 games, the first 3 games, wasn't nothing super spectacular to write home about. Oh, maybe it was the last 2 games. Okay, the last 2 games. I do apologize. Right? So his first 4 games were nothing, right? But the last 2 games, right, he's really done well. 78.2, his run blocking 75.9, 81.7, pass blocking. Pretty good, right? This past game against the Eagles, right, 83 points, as I said, Carter wasn't there. Carter was there, this number wouldn't be 80, I'm sure it probably would be 83.2. But his run blocking 84.7, 72.5, right? So on the season, very solid numbers. Certainly we'd like the numbers to go up more than that. That is for sure. Because I said, you take a center in the second round, you're hoping for some really good production from him. But like I said, each year he has been getting better, right? We've always had problems. He's always been like light in the butt, right? He's always been on the light side. And one of the issues that we've had, obviously, with him over the long haul, right, is that he's just light. right? And a lot of times you get those big time defensive tackles like now Carter or somebody like that, and they just like overpower him. They just like push him back into the quarterback and all. So he's good at double teaming, right? But trying to stand like one of the bigger defensive tackles, and if he has to go one-on-one with one of them, he's in a lot of trouble. So, but looks like he is taking a bit of a step forward, this year. So let's hope for us Giant fans anyway, he can keep that up, right? But he's past couple games he's done very, very well. Although he did go out of the game, he had I believe he had a concussion, and Schlottman went in there. Let me see here. I gotta find it. Yeah. So this past game, right? John Runyon has been having a bad season, and we brought the dude in. Our guards are not really doing phenomenal this year. Runyon is having a bad season with pass blocking grades. The last 3 games for Runyon: 28.8, 41.4, and 29.5 in the three of his past 4 starts. We're paying the dude like 10 or is it 13 million a season, or 10, maybe it's 10 million a season. We're not getting good production from him. Last night he surrendered 4 pressures against the Eagles, but the rest of the offensive line was great, only giving up 6 pressures combined, no sacks, and only 1 quarterback hit. John Michael Schmitz was having his 3rd consecutive good pass blocking grade. 72.5. He gave up no pressures last night before he got hurt, before he had a concussion. Austin Schlottman took over and had a clean 14 snaps in John Michael Schmitz's absence. Schlottman graded out at 80.5. Jermaine Illuminor gave up a quarterback hit, but graded out 76.7 overall. Andrew Thomas had his worst game of the season, giving up his first 2 pressures of the season and grading out at a 69. Greg Van Roten had a below average 50.8 with 2 pressures. Overall, a pretty good showing by the offensive line. Let's see here. One blocking. Let's see. Yeah. What's it last night? We had John Michael Schmitz. Run block at 84.7. Really, really did good. So hopefully for us Giant fans anyway, things are maybe on the up and up. Let's hope, because we're kind of expecting more from John Michael Schmitz at center. So one of the things, he was always light in the butt, and he was always, he needs to get stronger, and he needs to get a little bit heavier too. So maybe, with any luck, maybe he's turning the corner. That would be huge, because so it hasn't been so much this year. Our tackles have been giving us problems at the middle of the interior of the offensive line for the Giants. I mean, we definitely going to need a guard next season, without question. And I said, the fact that we've been trying Evan Neal at a guard, and the fact that, our guards have not been playing really well, and the fact that we're still not even, Evan Neal was the 7th overall pick in the draft, and we're still not even dressing the guy. I mean, that just goes to show you, Giants might have really swung and missed on him big time. Thing that really would piss you off, especially if you're a Giant fan, right, would wind up being if you don't sign Neal next year, you let him go and he goes to another team and he does well. Right. But, all right. Now, I mean, show you this here, right? Is that this is always one of those things. It's kind of like, I don't know. What do you want to call it? I don't want to say so much what comes first, the chicken or the egg, or so. I certainly don't want to say that. But the Eagles, after last season, right, they rewarded Saquon. Good for you, right? They gave him $36 million guaranteed. They signed him for 2 years, $41 million. 36 million guaranteed. So not only did they sign him for the one, I guess it was last year, or they signed him for 2 years or something like that, but they signed him for another 2 years on top of that. So it's always like one of those things. It's kind of like, as the running back's really doing good, Okay, when they're early in their career, they got some tread left on the tire and all that stuff, and they're running the ball and they're being successful, averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry, whatever, catching they want the long-term contract. But then the thing is, it's always, it's like, they're beating you up, they're wearing you down in your early years. And then when you want that long-term contract, according to especially what Saquon was talking about, you kind of like worn out. They don't want you anymore because you're worn out. They'll hand you the ball, he said, like 300 times a season. But then when it comes time to pay you, they don't want to pay you because they say you're worn out, right? And the thing is, it's like, I'm not sure which knee it is, but apparently his knee is a little banged up, right? He's always averaging like 3.4 yards a carry, right? Now I don't know if he's wearing down a little bit from last season because he had he had a lot of carry, a lot of touches between receptions and running the ball. He had a lot last year. What did he have? Have this here? Okay, what do we got here? He had a lot. Let's see, previous season. Whoops. A lot of touches. What did he have last season? Saquon. 345 and 33 catches. So I don't know. Well, actually, and that doesn't even include the playoffs. So we had 33, the 50. So during the regular season, he had about 380 touches almost. And he missed the final game of the season. 380. That didn't include the playoffs. And played at least 3 games. So he had well over 400 touches last season, right? So, he had a phenomenal season. He was one of the biggest reasons, obviously, that they wind up going to the Super Bowl and having a, phenomenal season, right? So they rewarded him, But the thing is that, now he's had all these, touches and carries and all that. Let me share my screen. I got to show the, there's just, share the screen. Go to Philadelphia. Here we go. The Philadelphia Eagles. Salary game. Here we go. Right. Let me show you. Right. So we go down here. Saquon. His cap hit's only $6 million this season. Right. So let's go to Saquon. And we'll show you right here. Right. Barkley signed a 2-year, $41 million contract with the Eagles, including $36 million guaranteed. Here's my map. There we go. 36 guaranteed. And an average annual salary of $20,600,000. 2025, Barkley will earn a base salary of $1 million, basically. He has a signing bonus of 15 and a workout bonus of $250,000 while carrying a cap hit of $6.6 million and a dead cap value of $45 million. Almost $46 million. Contract terms. Signed a 2-year, over $20 million a season. So they rewarded him, right? But once again, is the Eagles' way, right? The void years. Look at this. Nothing but void years on the end of his contract, right? Let's see where cap hit. Right, his cap hit is $12 million here. $9 million is dead. They want to get out of his kind of. They have dead money. They could maybe get out here and maybe 17 or 18 million in dead cap money, right? But his money's all pushed down the road, right? As I said, it's Hey, he won a Super Bowl. Right? He had over 2,000 yards rushing. He was never going to do that with the Giants last year, so good for him. And I said this before, right? Right now, okay, I'm a lot happier with the running back situation that we have, right? Because let's see here. All right, here we go. Let me go to Saquon. Click on this. Let's see. Now, I guess this might include last night's game. I don't know. Now, I guess this, if it's 300, it doesn't even include the playoffs, right? So he has 1,641 rushes, 340. So basically, during the regular season, from 2018 to last night game, I guess the regular season, there hasn't been a lot of playoff games because he was with the Giants most of his career, right? But he has about 2,000 touches between running the ball and receptions, about 2,000. And of course, that doesn't include the playoffs. So he played 2 playoff games in 2022. I guess he played 3 last year with the Eagles. So he has 5 playoff games. So that's probably at least another 100 touches that he has. Now, so he has over 2,100 touches. So, that doesn't include college, high school, whatever. So, sure if he's maybe wearing down a little bit, or the knee. It's all the knee, the issue. But he's only averaging 3.4 yards a carry. Actually, 2 weeks ago, he's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. Last week, he bumped it up to 3.2, I think it was. And then this past week against the Giants, he had 1 or 2 nice long runs, like 18-yarder, which is the longest run of his so far this season, 18 yards. And he's averaging 3.4 yards a carry, and they're paying him. He's just signed a contract for like $20,600,000 a season. So it's good for him. Hey, he got paid. Right? That's what he wants. He got paid. Right? But I said, being a Giant fan, I tell you what, Cam Skattebo's averaging 4.1 yards a carry. We have no wide receivers. Our offensive line is nowhere near as good as the Eagles. And Cam Skattebo's averaging 4.1 yards a carry. Saquon Barkley, I don't know, the bad knee. I get that. Obviously, he'd be averaging probably more, right, than what he is. But he's having 3.4 yards a carry. They're paying him over $20 million a season. And Cam Skattebo's, I think, averaging. I think Cam's is like 1.3 million a season. So he's making about $19 million less than Saquon Barkley. Right? I said, the object is to win a Super Bowl. That's what the Eagles did last year. Now, would the Eagles have won a Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley? I don't know. Don't know. But he certainly didn't hurt. That's for darn sure. So Saquon Barkley got himself his 2,000 yards rushing. He got himself a nice, big, juicy contract. He won a Super Bowl. That's what it's all about. But I mean, you start looking at it right now, it's like, guys, over 2,000 touches on his body in the pro career. I said last night, you take away those 1 or 2 runs he had. I think he had like 4 carries for 2 yards in the fourth quarter or something like that. I was like, so, nothing super spectacular. I mean, last year he just killed the Giants, totally killed the Giants. Wasn't doing it this year. So, but I'm very happy where the Giants are at as far as our running back rotation. Especially you figure between Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Cam Skattebo, right? Paying those 2 guys maybe about $3 million between the 2 of them combined, 2.5 maybe combined. So I'll take right now. Anyway, I'll take our running back situation over the Eagles. But then again, it is Saquon Barkley. If the dude gets healthy, hopefully if his knee heals up or whatever, starts feeling better, he's Saquon. The guy can jump over people. So, his 3.4 yards per carry can certainly skyrocket in a hurry. So you give him a couple good long runs, right? That run per carry jumps up big time. But I'm just saying, like as of right now, he's averaging, his knees hurting him, 3.4 yards a carry, and they're paying him over $20 million a year. Wow, man. Now, of course, as we've seen, especially the past 4 games, win the turnover battle equals winning the game, right? So what happened here, right? Giants did not turn the ball over at all, okay? I said you figure that interception that Hurts throw, right? That was about a 10-point swing right there because the Giants were able to punch it in for a touchdown But you figure it probably took about, you figure at least 3 points off the board for the Eagles, right? And then you figure then the other one, where were they at? Let's see, where were they at? Is it? Okay. Trying to think the Eagles were once again play-by-play. Okay. When they fumbled when they fumbled. And they had a 7-play, 69-yard drive going. So, this was right after the Giants touchdown. Giants made a 3-score game, but the Eagles started marching right down the field, got down to the 37-yard line. Got down to the 26-yard line. Once again, at least in field goal range, once again. Then Belton and Okereke. Belton and Okereke went on a tackle. Belton fumbled it, punched it out, and Phillips recovered at the 25. But they got down to the 26-yard line. So once again, in field goal range, right? Last night, which huge, right? You look at it. It was 34. It was 27-17. Okay. That interception was at least a 10-point swing right there. At least a 10-point swing. You figure it was 27-17. Say, woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's all I'm saying. Hurts doesn't throw the interception, right? Say they get 3 points there. Now it's 27-7. Okay. Giants get the ball back. I don't know what the Giants would have done. They did score a touchdown, but that's because Flott ran the ball back almost darn near to the red zone, right? But just say just say the Giants get the ball back and they don't have to punt, right? Well, then the Eagles had the ball and they started marching right back down the middle. They got down to the 26-yard line where they fumbled the ball, right? Another turnover, right? Took points off the board for the Eagles. I say it was 27-7. Say the Eagles, the guy gets tackled. Say they can't get another first down, whatever. They kick a field goal. Now it's 27-23, right? At that particular point in time, when there was 6 minutes. The Giants. I'm going to talk about this in just a second. The Giants actually got the ball with 6 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in the game and ran the clock out, right? But so if the Eagles kick the field goal, now it's 27-23, right? Now, to be fair, the Giants were up by 3 scores. Giants got the ball back, and they just started running the ball, and they ran the clock out, right? And you can kind of tell. It was kind of like the Eagles are down by 3 scores. The Giants are running with Cam. You can just tell it kind of like took a lot of the steam out of the Eagles, especially their defense. It's like they were trying, but they were down by 3 scores. Pretty tough to come back from 3 scores with about 6 minutes to go in the game. Chances are it's not happening, right? So you can almost kind of tell where they were kind of like maybe, I don't want to say giving up, but they weren't wholeheartedly in it, shall we say, right? But say if the game's 27-23, right? Now the Eagles kick off to the Giants. There's 6 minutes and 50 seconds or 6 minutes to go in the game. That's an eternity. So the Eagles maybe make a stop and they get the ball back and they start marching back down the field again. Anything's possible. Anything is possible, right? So those turnovers were huge, absolutely huge. As I said, that one was like a 10-point swing. Took at least 3 points, the interception. At least 3 points, good chance that the Eagles were going to make the field goal if they didn't score a touchdown, right? But it took 10 points off. It took 3 points away from the Eagles, gave the Giants 7 because we scored the touchdown, right? They were in field goal range when they fumbled the ball. That's another possibly 3 points a day. Or maybe if they didn't fumble the ball, maybe they go in there and score a touchdown. Who knows, right? That was huge. But you look at it with the Giants is that you go back to the week before with the Saints, right? What happened there, right? 5 consecutive drives wound up in turnovers. Quite a few of them, were scoring range, right? Then, of course, the one we lost 26-14. The one was basically at least a 10-point swing. We were down with Skattebo. They picked up the ball. What the heck was it? At the 14-yard line, I think it was. So we were in the red zone and we were marching. We were moving. Possibly we scored a touchdown there. Who knows? But before we got stopped, that was a Giants going to kick. Quite possibly would have kicked the field goal. It gave us 3 points. Skattebo fumbles the ball. They pick it up, running back 86 yards for a touchdown. That's a 10-point swing right there. At least a 10-point swing. You take 7 points off of the Saints because of that fumble. If we don't. That's all I'm saying. Now they got 19 points. You give us 3 points for kicking the field, and that's 19-17. Whole new ball rolling down. Right? But we turn over 5 times. Right? The week before that, what happens? The Giants had the first drive of the game, right? They walked down the field and scored a touchdown. The rest of the game against the Chargers, basically the Giants offense scored 3 points. 3 points. They scored the other points, the other 11 points on a field goal and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion, but basically came off of interceptions. Right? The balls got picked off, ran back. Drew Phillips got tackled inside the 5. Sexy Dexy got tackled inside the 5. 2 drives, I think, started inside the 5. We can only score 1 touchdown. Right? But that was 11 points that we got basically off of those 2 turnovers. You take those 11 points away, right? The Giants only have 10 points. Then the Giants lose the game. Huge. Same thing the week before, right? Against the Chiefs. The Giants had 2 turnovers. The Chiefs didn't have any. The Chiefs wound up with 3 points off of one of the Giants. Actually, they had 2 field goal opportunities off of the 2 turnovers that the Giants had. Let's see here. Let me see here. Where we at here? All right, so the Giants. Let's see here. Giants had an interception in the second quarter, and off of that, the Chiefs missed the field goal. Right? We're lucky there. But then, let's see. Then the Giants, toward the end of the first half, right, threw an interception, and then as the Chiefs went 7 plays and 69 yards, 7 plays and 49 seconds, and they kicked the field goal at the end of the half. So because of the 2 turnovers, right, the Chiefs quite possibly could have had 6 points, but they only wound up with 3. Right? Right, the Chiefs didn't have any turnovers at all. But we basically gave the Chiefs, what didn't I say? They gave them 3 points. But sorry, I got to move my legs. But the Chiefs wanted an extra 3 points because right at the end of the first half because of that interception. Right? So, I mean, it's huge. Absolutely huge. Win the turnover battle, you win the game. Right? It's going to be very interesting to see when we go play, like maybe the Eagles in a couple weeks. We play the Broncos, right? Let's see how the turnover margin goes, right? Because, when you got a rookie quarterback and, you're not the best team in the league, right? You can ill afford, shall we say, to go out there and start turning the ball over. Right, so Giants did a very good job protecting the ball against the Chargers. They did a very good job protecting the ball against the Eagles, and what happened? They wound up winning. So, I'm a Giants fan anyway. Keep your fingers crossed that we can keep protecting the ball. Not only so much that, right, keep protecting the ball, but keep getting the ball away from the other team. I said that was huge. Absolutely huge. That the 2 turnovers that we had from the Eagles last night took points off the board from them. Could have been a different game. And I said the Charger game, the 2 turnovers we got, the 2 interceptions we got from the Chargers, okay, gave us points, which gave us the win. So turnovers are absolutely huge. You win a lot of times you win a turnover battle, you win a football game. So something to keep an eye on. All right, and then finally here, there we go. Only took 4.5 hours for it to load. This took me back. I'll tell you what. This did me good. Let me tell you what. Took me back to 1994. The Giants got the ball. What was it here? Was it 6 minutes and 50 seconds? 12-play drive. It just ran out the final 7 minutes of the game. Up by 3 scores. Ran 12 plays off the clock. Ran off 6 minutes and 50 seconds, including whatever timeouts I guess the Eagles had. I guess plus the 2-minute warning. Man. So an 18-yard run, an 11-yard run, a 1-yard run, a 4-yard run. There was a 15-yard penalty for taunting. Dart, short pass to Cam Skattebo, pushed out of bounds at the Philly 30 for 8 yards. He said something, and he got a taunting penalty. So for 15 yards, it was enforced between the downs. So, but then we got a 10-yard run from Cam Skattebo at left guard to the which made it a first down. Let's see. Then we got a 3-yard run. Devin Singletary got a 3-yard run. Then we got Devin Singletary for a 6-yard run. Then we got Jaxson Dart up the middle for a 2-yard run. Then got the 2-minute warning, right? So it was 3rd and 1. We got a 2-yard. 3rd and 1. We got a 2-yard run, which gave us a first down. Brought it to the 2-minute warning, and then basically we just ran the clock out. Just a -1-yard run. Dart took a kneel. Dart took a knee. Dart took another knee, and Dart took a 3rd knee. So for minus, it's like they lost like 2 yards in those 3 knees that they took. But it's just, being able to, that's not easy to do at all. Now, to be fair, once again, the game was in hand. Up by 3 scores, 6 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the game. You can kind of tell the way the Giants were just starting to run. But that's what you want to do. You want to keep running the ball. The first quarter, you run the ball, you get 2 yards, 3 yards, whoopie-do. Second quarter, if you get 3 yards, 4 yards, right? If you keep running the ball in the third quarter, it helps to have the lead if you run the ball, right? Those 2 3-yard runs become 4 5-yard runs. And you keep running and running and running, and you get we ran the ball was it 40 times? Whoops, let's see what we got here. Team stats. What do we got here? Giants ran the ball 39 times. You run the ball 39 times. They're going to tire the other defense out. I said, but the Eagles down by 3 scores, 6 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in the game. The Giants got it. They're running the ball. The clock's running. It's the chances of them getting the ball 3 times and scoring all time. It's not very good, right? So you can almost kind of tell maybe it took a little bit of the whatever you want to call it out of the Eagles, right? And they weren't maybe quite, as we kept gaining first downs, the game was over. You know what I'm saying? So to be fair to the Eagles, I'm sure they may not have been giving their all-out effort on that last drive. But to be able just to take the ball, it's almost 7 minutes left to go in the game and be able to run the clock out is so difficult to do. I said, brought me back to 1994. I'll just do it real fast because the final game of the season, the Giants missed the playoffs in 1994. We won 9-7. We were beating the Cowboys 15-10 at Giant Stadium. We got the ball back. There was 9. I think it was 9. You can look at it on YouTube. I think it was 9 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the game. Giants were up 15-10, up by 5 points. We got the ball with over 9 minutes left to go in the game. We ran the clock out. It was final game of the season. We just missed the play. I don't remember if we were 10-6. We would have made the play. I don't remember. The Cowboys were a phenomenal team. They came off. They came off their back. That 92 and 93, they were Super Bowl champions. 94, they were a very good team in 94. Very good team. they lost in the championship game to the 49ers, and the 49ers won the Super Bowl. Now, had the Cowboys beat the 49ers and gone to the Super Bowl, either one of those two teams would have beat the Chargers. There's no doubt in my mind. So the Cowboys would have gotten to the Super Bowl again. They would have won 4 straight Super Bowls. But thankfully, the 49ers knocked them out, thankfully. But the one thing is that, with Dave Brown as our quarterback, with Rodney Hampton, we had Dave Meggett was in there, right? But with Dave Brown in there, he completed a few passes. But once we get out to about midfield or so, right, he started handing the ball off to Rodney Hampton. Right? We kept running and running and running. We got down to the 2 minute. The Cowboys called the timeouts, I believe it was. They got down to the 2-minute warning. They kept running. They just kept getting first down after first down after first down. And it was toward the end of the game. The Giants had run the ball a lot. Cowboys were getting very tired. The Cowboys didn't need that game anyway, right? Giants didn't need it either. The Giants wanted to win it. The Cowboys wanted to win it, of course. But the Giants, as I said, they wanted. They still missed the playoffs. But it was the fact that the Giants had got the ball around their own 12-yard line, somewhere around there. They had over, I think it was 9 minutes and 5 seconds. You can look at it on YouTube, on the clock in the fourth quarter. And the Giants ran the clock out. Over 9 minutes on the clock at the end of the game. They're only up by, it wasn't like they were up 41-10 or something like that, and the game was over. And they just kept running the ball and getting first down. No. They're up by 5 points. It was 15-10. So neither team was really scoring any points, But they were 15-10. And I don't know how long the drive was, how many plays it was exactly. I think it was over 15 plays that they ran. And every time they threw a pass, it was completed, it was inbounds, the clock kept running. Every time they ran the ball, obviously they stayed in bounds, the clock kept running. So every play, they just kept chewing 30, 40 seconds off the clock. And it was just like they got the ball and they got down to about 7 minutes and they still had the ball and the clock's still running and they got a first down. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, all right. Then they another 2 or 3 plays and they're down to like 5.5 minutes to go. It's like, Then they get out to about midfield and they got another first down or so and they were down about 4 minutes and you're like, geez, I wonder if they can possibly do this. And then they got to get the hand. Then they started handing the ball off to Rodney Hampton. And you pick up 5 yards, pick up another 5 yards, first down. Now you're down like 3 minutes to go. And you're like, oh, my God. Then they ran the ball another 1-2 times, maybe got another first down. It's like 2-minute warning to go. And you're like, oh, my God, they might do, it was just, it's so difficult to do. But I'll tell you what, boy, when you can actually, have a lead and you can run the ball and the other team pretty much knows you're going to run the ball and they can't stop you. I'll tell you what, man, there's no better feeling in the world. And what the Giants did, against, I said, it wasn't the Super Bowl. The Giants were up by 3 scores. I get it. But to have 6 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock and just with our offense, no wide receivers, not the greatest offensive line in the world, a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back, our number 1 wide receiver's out for the season, all that. And just to be able to run it against the defending Super, and it was the same thing with the Giants did in 1994. They ran the ball against the defending 2-time Super Bowl champions, 92 and 93. The Cowboys were defending 2-time Super Bowl champions. But last night at home against the defending Super Bowl champions, who have a very good defense, just to be able to run out the final 6 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. And the Eagles never get the ball back. Man, does my heart some good. All right, guys, it's been almost 1 hour and 50 minutes. Holy cow, Batman. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me as always. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.